Hey everyone, it's Raj from 3CB Performance. Manchester United and French international midfielder Paul Pogba has been diagnosed with a quote microfissure in his right foot, or as some outlets have called it, a quote cracked toe that originally manifested during Man U's Carabao Cup match against Rochdale on September 25th. Pogba then played 5 days later against Arsenal on September 30th, but responded adversely with ankle pain, which led to the medical staff shutting him down after the match. In this video, I'll detail the injury, Pogba's return timeline, and what to expect moving forward. A symptomatic bone microfissure, most likely what's medically known as a quote bone stress reaction, occurs due to a repetitive microtrauma that creates an inflammation, swelling response at a specific part of the bone and is considered the mildest form of a bone stress injury, BSI. That inflammation is likely why Pogba's injury was initially thought to be a recurrence or add-on to the ankle injury that he picked up against Southampton in late August. Additionally, you might think of a quote cracked toe as only pertaining to the far end of the foot, but as you can see, the toe bone's metatarsals are much longer than you might realize. These metatarsals are common sites of stress reactions, especially the second and third metatarsals, because they absorb the most stress during the push-off phase of running and jumping. Normally, any microtrauma that is caused by running, jumping, kicking, etc. is mitigated by an equal remodeling/adaptation response by the bone. This process is really important because it's how bone becomes stronger. It's the underpinning of a very important principle in orthopedics known as Wolff's Law, which states that bone grows and remodels directly in response to the stresses placed upon it. However, when that ratio of microtrauma to remodeling is thrown off, the microtrauma accumulates and creates a stress reaction in the bone that's noticeable on MRI. This typically happens after a significant increase in activity quantity and/or intensity, particularly in running and jumping athletes. To that point, the underlying cause for Pogba's injury could be playing the full 90 minutes versus Rochdale after having missed the previous month due to ankle injury. Even though Pogba had pain and swelling after the Rochdale game, he still played versus Arsenal just 5 days later. It's not uncommon that the pain and swelling from a stress reaction subsides very quickly, which leads to a quick return without any games missed, with the medical team continuing to monitor the player's response on a day-by-day basis. In line with that process, Pogba almost certainly cleared all pre-match rehab protocols prior to the Arsenal game, but when he complained of pain after the match, the medical team shifted their course of care and decided on a more conservative one. Following the Arsenal game, Pogba was sent to Dubai for warm weather rehab. His right foot was immobilized for a week to modify weight bearing on the foot and allow the bone to renormalize the microtrauma remodeling ratio I mentioned earlier. Don't tell me you already forgot about that, bro. During this period, Pogba maintained his fitness through lower impact training such as cycling and yoga, along with ongoing mobility work. In Phase 2, Pogba returned to full weight bearing and began to gradually ramp up activity, quantity, and intensity under careful supervision. Additionally, the rehab staff may have begun to address biomechanical deficits that could be contributing to increased loading on Pogba's foot. For example, working with Paul to soften his landing by distributing weight more equally side to side, and absorbing more of the force with his upper legs. Lastly, depending on the specific location of the injury, Pogba may also be using custom fabricated inserts to reduce stress on that part of the foot. The return to play RTP for stress reactions is highly variable, ranging from days to weeks. After the setback versus Arsenal, it sounds like Man U are being far more conservative with Pogba's return, with the player potentially missing a total of 3 to 4 weeks, 1 week for Phase 1, followed by 2 to 3 weeks of Phase 2. That timeline gives Pogba an outside chance to play against Liverpool on October 20th, but in my opinion, the risk-reward of bringing him back in that high intensity of a match against an elite, aggressive, high-press team tilts far too much towards risk. Accordingly, giving him an extra week and coming back on the 27th versus Norwich makes much more sense. A bone stress reaction, when left unchecked, untreated, and not rehabbed appropriately, can potentially lead to higher severity bone stress injuries such as stress fractures. It's that risk which likely led Man U's medical staff to nip this injury in the bud right now with an extended rehab stint for Pogba. When he does return, likely starting with shorter spells on the pitch, either as a sub or being subbed off early, he'll continue to be monitored closely on a day-to-day basis, constantly assessing for tenderness, swelling, and discomfort. It's a relatively mild injury, but something you really want to be proactive about and stay out in front of. That's a wrap for this video. Thanks for watching. My goal is to provide you with in-depth, evidence-based, narrative-free analysis. You can always find me on IG and Twitter at 3CB Performance. Make sure to sub to the channel for the latest updates. 3CB out.